Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a pantry reorganization, a mini makeover, a refresh if you will. I'm very excited in our new house that we have a legitimate pantry, but it is looking a little bland. There's not a really good system in here so far, and today we are going to fix that. So if you are interested in those things or you just like to see me make a fool of myself, please keep watching. Here's the thing. I did not learn from the last time I organized a pantry. I ordered some stuff to put in this space and help me get things sorted, and I didn't measure anything, to include the wallpaper I got, so I don't even know if I have enough wallpaper. But we're going to unbox this stuff, wash it so it's nice and clean, and then just get started and hope for the best. I would say that one day I'll learn, but I really won't. So I did record myself opening everything and looking things over. However, I talk too much, and the clip was too long. I talked too much. Even to speed it up was going to be a nightmare. So if you're interested in a little excerpt of who I am as a person, I'm going to upload that clip unedited on my channel as well. It's about 10 minutes, so if you have 10 minutes to kill, please check it out. While I finish emptying our pantry, I thought I'd introduce myself to anyone who's new here. Hi, my name is Tegan. I am an Air Force veteran turned military spouse and stay-at-home mom of 2 boys. My family and I recently PCS'd. We moved from Virginia, where we were at for 4 years, to the South, which we are absolutely loving. Even though we are not from this area, we are still enjoying our time here. And honestly, even if we weren't, it's only 3 years and then it's time to move again.
Did you ever stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready? Let me be honest, I don't know a single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me.
We found out we would be moving back in March, and that's also the time that we picked out our house. We went under contract pretty much immediately because it is a new build. And I started going on Amazon and looking at all of the peel and stick wallpapers because I knew I wanted to put one in our pantry. And this is the one that I found. I loved the pattern so much. I thought it was beautiful. When it arrived, it felt really smooth, so I knew it would be easy to clean, and it was just as pretty in person as it was in the photos. However, it sucks. It is not nearly sticky enough. It really wouldn't adhere well to the walls. On video, it looks fine, but in person, it was constantly bubbling. It was peeling at the seams, and it was very difficult to line up just because of how small these spaces are. So I ended up wasting quite a bit just trying to get any sections to line up properly, and I got so frustrated I just decided, you know what, it's not worth it. I called my mom and I said, Mom, what do I do? And she said paint, and so that's what I did.
If I like this chasing and playing and waiting around, it's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time, girl, I know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love. Oh, nah, 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 nah. Don't you see what
this is a relatively small space, I knew I didn't want it to be one flat color. I really wanted there to be some sort of design element to it, so I decided to try my hand at abstract lines. Now, I've never done anything like this before, so my husband suggested that I tape off the first shelf, paint my base color, and then once I remove the tape, I could decide if I liked it and then add my contrasting color to the line or just paint over the white and fill in the gaps. I ended up loving it, and I think that it's a really good way to test something out. I often have these ideas in my head and they don't always pan out in real life, so this was a good way to test my theory and not have to go over a dark color repeatedly with a lighter color.
You'd love to have a more crime. Gonna be sweet there, telling me you need me. But I'm from a city that's high school. I give them this anymore, I go. Cause you a bad money, she don't love money. She break grass real fast like conman. Wanna swim down to the deep end. Wanna know all my secrets, honestly. Can you keep it real? Cause honestly, I can tell that you're real fond of me. Baby, don't be shy, I can see it in your eyes. I've been running around. Too bad, I've been sticking on your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Too bad, I've been sticking on your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Take it, baby, I ain't scared to take it. Oh, and maybe when I take it, oh, I feel it coming down too strong. Cause I want ya, and it's hard to resist. Cause
After going over the rest of the sections with 2 coats of my base color, which is Warm Sienna by Sherwin Williams, I let those dry and then I taped off the rest of my designs. Now, I'm not super creative or artistic, so the easiest way for me to do this was to just extend the lines that came from the top of the shelf. Basically, I wanted it to look like I had painted the walls before the shelves had been installed. And that seemed to work out really well for me. And there's some areas where I had to put in a couple of more like abstract random designs because it was too much blank space. But overall, this worked really well. And then I was able to go over the lines with Caviar, also by Sherwin Williams.
how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Show me the color where you turn me on. The way you tell me you want me down. Pick it off, why you tryna find the pieces when you rip it off? Why I like when you say it when you take it off? Yeah, you know that I'm bad. Too bad, I've been sticking on your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time.
A couple of things to look out for if you try this yourself is to score the top, bottom, and sides of the wall. I didn't do that on this first shelf and it caused a lot of unnecessary lifting of the paint. And the other thing is to go really slow when you remove the tape from the design areas. I went too quickly on this first shelf and it caused more lifting just because it's a latex based paint. But going slow on the other shelves helped alleviate that. Also, doing touch-ups is pretty simple. If you have two very tiny paint brushes, then you can just dip them generously in paint and dab over the areas that need some TLC. The other thing is take a step back after you're done and look at your design. I noticed there were some areas that I wanted to adjust, some places that looked a little too bare. I didn't like how the lines weren't connecting anymore. So take a step back, look at your space, see if you like how the design looks, and if not, you can always add more tape and fill in those spots later.
Delve into emotion, leave us in this moment. Yeah.
This was my favorite part of the entire organization process, taking everything out of either its original packaging or whatever form of storage I had been using previously and making it more streamlined. Yes, it is visually more appealing. There is like a visual aesthetic, if you will. However, it was more important to me that it was visible, because I don't do well if I can't see where things are or I forget about them. And also, it was just more accessible. I had easy access to things. My kids were able to reach their snacks by themselves, which is a lifesaver. And I did really enjoy all of the pieces that I picked out. So I will have those linked down below if you're interested.
Interrupt me and I interrupt you. A shame. When did we start losing and stop giving? I remember I gave it time, all of my time. Now my mind's lost in its thoughts. I want you want only you, but my heart's all tied up in knots.
Here is just a quick shot of what the pantry looks like before I get everything back in, but now that all of the painting is done, the touch-ups are done, and now that I've added any other design elements that I felt were missing previously. If you watched my previous pantry organization video, you have seen these baskets before. I loved them in Virginia and I ordered a third one for our home here. I used the same process of taking push pins and lining the baskets up on the wall, putting the push pins into the screw holes, taking a step back and making sure I liked the placement of all the shelves. It also makes a little mark for me as a guide for me drilling pilot holes to use drywall anchors and then screw them in. I did choose to hang these as high as possible in these sections just so I would have more shelf space beneath them, and so far it's worked out really well. What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. I was very quickly running out of table and counter space, so it was time to get everything back in the pantry that was done and ready to go. I will say that the way that I have my small kitchen appliances organized on this left-hand side where they are top to bottom, I got that idea from my aunt and uncle. That's how they have things stored in their home, and it has been not only really convenient and of course accessible, which is apparently my favorite thing, but it also has saved me a ton of cabinet space.
Nighttime is something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me, and all my loving, we come alive.
And here we have what I like to call a typical Tegan moment. Because I didn't measure anything before buying these items, I didn't know that the shelves were different distances apart, and therefore my coffee pot holder only fit in one space, and I had already hung up these baskets. I really liked where the baskets were. I wasn't willing to undo all of that work, so it was easier for me to step back, move things around. It did end up working out. I just could have saved myself the hassle. But if you have no concept of space, or you're like me and you both don't have any concept of space and you don't bother measuring things, then you really just have to be willing to go with the flow and redo things repeatedly. Yes, it's frustrating, but it will be worth it in the long run.
We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. There's something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. Oh, 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 we come alive. We come alive. Oh, 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 we come alive. Tell me that you want me. I can see you want me by the look in your eyes. Tell me that you want me. I can see you want me by the look in your eyes. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive in the nighttime. There's something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. Oh, 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 we come alive. Yeah, we come alive. Oh, 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 we come alive. We come alive.
I don't wanna stay here, no. Ain't gonna keep it low now. If you wanna go, let's go. Let's wrap it up and hit the road. I just gotta know.
Here we have another typical Tegan moment where I have mixed two very different kinds of rice, and that you can't cook together, nor do you cook them the same way. So that's going to be really fun to deal with later.
Understand that we get one chance, one chance. You will never regret the things that we'll do. 'Cause I wanna drive through the summer night. And when we are old and gray,
I have really loved these airtight containers for all of our dried goods. I will say the one thing though is if you have a lot of items that look very similar to each other and you don't have a label maker, get a label maker, write on the bin, do whatever you need to do, because it wasn't until I edited this video that I remembered that one of those products is in fact cornstarch. I was looking at it forever, couldn't figure out what it was. So don't be like me, make sure to label your containers.
you gotta understand that we get one chance, one chance. You will never regret the things that we'll do. 'Cause I wanna drive through the summer night. And when we are old and gray, we'll look back at this summer night. The summer night, the summer night.
Here is a look at the final product. I am so happy with how it turned out, even though it's not what I initially envisioned, and I know that these colors and this design isn't everyone's taste. I know that it's not trending right now. It's not all white. There's not a ton of marble in here. It's not farmhouse, but it is something that I like. It's something that my husband is happy enough to live with, and I know trends come and go, so you should always enjoy the space that you live in. So make bold choices. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please throw it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
The summer night,
hair? Where's the hair? Oh, there's 2 hairs. Okay, that's disgusting. Okay, I need to not. Yeah. Ow. Just painted a whole other section and it wasn't recording. Love it.